Four people with four unique stories on one mission to disassemble corporate brokerage one bad suit and tie at a time. We are the Rebels of Real Estate.
All right, welcome everybody. This is our first just kidding, fourth podcast, and we're all back here.
I'm not back here. I'm right here next to you. I'm not back here.
We're not back.
We're all here.
We're just here.
We're all gathered here today to do some podcasting for your enjoyment and entertainment.
Gathered here today.
Yo. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, how's everybody doing?
Lisa, you said the same thing.
Wow.
You said the same thing.
You owe me a Coke.
Poke, you owe me a Coke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, so I figured today's a good day to start just talking about what's been happening. What's been going on? We had some good stuff happen the last couple of weeks, right?
Sure.
Like we signed some new franchises, right?
We did.
We did.
Who wants to talk about it?
We signed two.
We had two grand opening events too.
Oh, we did.
We did.
How was
Corey,
your trip?
How was your
Super
trip to
California.
Florida?
My trip was quick.
Yeah.
It was super quick.
You saw a gator, though.
I did see a gator the first time. I've been, every time I'm in Florida, I want to see an actual alligator, in the wild. I've never seen one.
Until you see one.
And then I saw one driving down the highway, and I called Lisa immediately. I'm like, hey, I finally saw one. It was a big day for me.
So I finally saw a gator. Very exciting. What about you? How was your trip down to Elizabeth City?
Mine was adventurous.
Yeah.
Very adventurous.
He almost died.
No, we took the airplane out.
Great.
Yeah.
Flew down to
Another reason why
Elizabeth
I don't want to fly
City.
in that stupid plane.
Well, the weather got kind of shitty that day.
The weather got a little rough on us on the way back.
Yeah.
We had to end up.
I was wondering that because it was pouring. I'm like, I wonder how.
Oh, yeah, he almost died.
Tell the story now. I want to hear what
You
happened
love
to
to
you.
spice up the story, right? For the listeners, no, we did not. But so we flew down. We had to fly kind of along the Washington. So there's like outside of Washington, D.C., there's a restricted airspace called the CIFRA ever since 9/11. So you have to avoid that unless you're on like flight plan specifically. So we flew around it. And believe it or not, you can fly from Hershey, PA down to Elizabeth City, North Carolina. It's 750 feet above the ground and be totally legal. It's just a low-lying
so cool.
area.
That's wild.
Yeah. So we knew the weather was going to be nice on the way down and that rainstorms and showers were coming in on the way back in the afternoon. So
Tornadoes in Hershey.
yeah, well, luckily we didn't encounter any of those on the way back. But on the way down, I chose to fly low just to get a sight picture of what it would look like in case on the way back we had to fly below the weather. On the way down at 2,000 feet, a lot of turbulence right away. We took it up to 3,000 feet, smooth as air the whole way down. Beautiful ride. On the way back, unfortunately, storms were coming in, and we could not go back the same way we came, so we had to divert and go up the East Coast along Delaware shores, past Wallops Air Force Base, and the storms were right there to our west the whole time up through.
Yeah.
We were hit, pretty moderate rain, lower visibility. It was still marginal visual conditions. However, and it was super smooth, like no turbulence at all. It was
Right.
great. Good ride. And I figured we'd
On
make
the way
it.
home, you just.
Yeah, on the way home. Yeah.
I thought you said
Well,
there was
'cause you stayed to
issues.
the-
There were storms,
He didn't get
but
that
it's still
far yet.
smooth.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He didn't get to
So
that
we
part
got
yet.
up to, I figured we'd make it to Delaware,
Right.
and the weather probably we wouldn't be able to make it back to Hershey because of the storm lines, and encountered some heavy turbulence, going into Delaware, and we had to divert over to Georgetown.
Oh, wow.
Landed, it was pretty turbulent on the landing.
Yeah.
Stuck at
Pretty
no problem.
turbulent.
Pretty turbulent landing.
Pretty turbulent.
I know it was exciting for Andrea, and we just went into the FBO.
My
and
knuckles would have been white holding the seat in front of me.
20 minutes later, major downpour came across. We hung out for, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Across what?
Across the airport.
Okay.
I mean, I was in Delaware, and we were on the riverfront because I ran the Delaware half this past
How do you spell
weekend.
that?
What?
Delaware?
Across.
Across. Oh.
I didn't say it with a T. You did.
I'm pretty sure it's A-C. How do you A-C-O?
ACROSSTTTTT.
Okay. Yeah, the
Oh
T's
my
in
gosh.
Triple T.
Sorry.
Anyway, no, but I
Delaware.
watched, we were in Delaware, and we had gone to go get our race packet, and we decided to stop at Constitutional Yards and get a drink, and we're sitting there and we're just watching the clouds. So I saw it coming in. We were like, we better go inside somewhere before we get struck by
we've
lightning.
seen it the whole time.
It was
It just-
bad.
It just kind of turned in on us, and you always want to leave an out, like a direction of flight to get away from the weather. And we had outs all along our east side, along the coast. There was airports all along the way. So we ended up diverting back to Georgetown. And, once the storm passed, got back up, it was great. It was smooth the whole way home. It delayed us about 2 hours.
Out?
Not really. Like she plays that she gets nervous and stuff flying. But I think, it's been 12 years that I've been flying. So
she's just used to it.
She's used to it at this point.
Yeah, you get used to it, I'm sure.
Oh. Yeah.
Not Corey.
No
Corey's
thanks.
like, no thanks.
No.
Gonna die.
Nope.
Really?
Not little plane, no. But I will take a hot air balloon, to space. But I will do that.
Okay. Well, that sounds a little more dangerous.
But I don't know why that's okay, but flying in your little plane.
I know when you sent that over, I was like, yeah, I'm not ready for that.
Tell me how cool that is.
That would be wild.
I mean, it's neat looking, but I don't want to be first.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be on the first one there.
You did see that shuttle blow up the other week, right?
Yes.
Elon's rocket.
SpaceX.
Oh, the rocket.
Adam was all excited. He's like, it's going off. And I turn it on and I'm like getting sick watching it spin.
Yeah, I
in
text you
circles.
guys, like a minute before the launch. I'm like, SpaceX is launching the biggest rocket that's ever been launched.
It's crazy.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Not really.
Not really.
No, it's cool.
Not my thing.
You know
Cherie loves that shit, though.
They're all,
Well, they're
everybody
right
in that
there.
area is really into
Yeah,
it.
she's all about that life.
Crazy.
That's cool.
That's all the conversation at our grand opening in Space Coast. That's what they were talking. A lot of people were talking about that.
You can
Right
watch it
there.
from that office, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like, she was like, you can watch it from right here at this angle from the parking lot. You can see it.
I don't
I'm
think
sure it's a sight to see.
Yeah.
It's
well,
cool.
most people probably don't know this unless you live in Florida, but even if you're on the other coast of Florida, if the visibility's good, you can see the shuttle
sure.
or anything
Yeah.
take off from
I mean,
there.
it's only 100 miles.
Yeah,
right?
it's not far. Like as kids,
Yeah.
I remember we would go outside and watch shuttles take off. It was like, oh, the shuttle's going to go off. Everyone go outside, if it was visible. So
Or you were actually like in mid-flight on the way down to Florida, right?
I didn't see
You didn't see it.
I wish I would have
So
seen
that
it.
was actually launched from Texas.
yeah, it was Texas.
Yeah,
Oh, they
I
launched that in
probably-
It was
Texas?
from
Yeah.
Texas.
Oh,
I
okay.
wouldn't have seen it probably.
Well, you still probably could have because it went really high and it was over the Gulf. It actually
So
headed
high.
towards Florida.
Went really high.
Touch the sky.
At the man. Right, man.
You do anything cool this weekend, Rob?
Yeah, I was in Florida. Chilling. Yeah.
Did you drink some mojitos?
I drank a lot.
Nice.
I was in Miami, and I was at a wedding. So, yeah, I did all right. Ate a lot of good food. So, it was cool. It was in Naples. Naples was all right. It was pretty.
Yeah.
Really pretentious. It's not really my thing, but
Pretentious.
it's pretentious there. And then we went to Miami, and then South Beach is like ridiculous now. So we got to see that for the first time. It was my first time in Miami, which everybody I told would look at me like I'm dumb because they're like, they know how well traveled I was. I was in a nightclub scene forever, so I've been everywhere and somehow never made it to Miami.
Yeah.
But yeah, not really feeling South Beach. There's a new neighborhood called Brickell, and it's super dope there. It's like really nice restaurants, cocktail lounges, rooftop bars. We stayed. Oh, listen. So everybody has to do this, experience this. So there's a new hotel chain called Citizen M. Okay, and it's like you're in the future in a community pod.
Oh,
Okay. So it's super crazy. So it's like you walk in, you check yourself in, you make your card yourself for your room, right? Everything's Citizen M, and there's this like guy that's like their mascot, kind of like that's supposed to be like the leader of Citizen M, right? So you go into your room, and it's the smallest room you've ever been in. It looks like a pod from like a futuristic movie.
I'm pretty sure. Did they have one in New York? Because
They
I was
do.
I was looking at those hotels. I'm like, this looks really cool, but
Yeah.
it looks super tiny.
It's
Yeah.
wild. So listen, you go in, and it's literally the smallest room, but they have a really nice bed, and it's tucked into the wall, like where the window is. So you're like in this little, like almost like a tent or something. And like everything is like this big. Like the sink is tiny. Like everything's really small. But it was cool. I don't know. It was just a really cool experience. Like I wouldn't stay there more than a night because like with two of us with all of our luggage, like it was super tight. Like she had to put her suitcase down and then get her stuff out, and then I had to put mine down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like calling each
But
other.
the experience was super cool. It was just, it really felt like you were in some weird like Matrix movie or something, and you're in a pod in space or something. I can't really explain it, but it was cool.
That's neat.
So yeah, so go check that out. Citizen M, if you're at a city that has that, I think it's worth staying a night.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Cool.
And thanks to Adam, we went to Fontainebleau. So that was cool. We enjoyed the pool there. The pool was really
That's a nice
nice.
spot.
The beach
Yeah.
was beautiful. So yeah, so that was good. It was good. It was a good little trip.
Cool.
Got extended, because Allegiant canceled our flights, but I'm not going to be complaining about being
Was
another.
it, was it Allegiant or was it Rob?
No, it was 100% Allegiant.
Yeah, I said to Lisa, I was like, That mofo just wanted to stay an extra day.
Oh, listen. Here's what's funny is
Blame it on the airlines.
no. Listen, literally the day before, we're like, man, I really wish we had another day, right? So we tossed it around, and I'm like, we just have so much going on. And then we went out to the nightclub, so we went to Live Miami, right? So we were there till 3 a.m. And we're like, this is ridiculous. So we're like, let's just go back to the room. Like, we have a long day. So we get up, and here at 4 a.m, we missed it by 1 hour. They canceled our flight. So had I been up a little later, I would have known and then been able to, like, plan accordingly or sleep in or whatever. But
It's a good story.
whatever. Yeah.
You're sticking to it.
I mean, it worked out. Listen, we drove down to the top of the Keys, and there's a restaurant called Alabama Jack's.
Yeah.
And it's super cool. It's the owner's always there. It's an outdoor venue. It's really like seedy, kind of run down, but it's right on the canal.
Those are the best.
The
ones.
food is out of this world. The conch fritters are like some of the best in Florida. So we got to do that for lunch. It was like an hour drive, and then we came back. And then we ended up going to the Miami Bucks playoff game and watched Jimmy Butler drop 56. So that was wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, it worked out. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, when Corey said that, I'm like, I don't think he'd make up the elaborate part in his text about the money that Allegiant paid them
Yes,
and
he would.
everything.
Yeah, I probably would.
Yes, he would.
I would. But no.
Really? Are you like
didn't.
12 still? You got to make stuff up like
No,
that?
I mean, if I really did it, I would have just told you guys, yeah, sorry, guys, I'm canceling the flight. We out here for another day. I would have told you guys. But no, I mean, it worked out. Listen, it was by accident. It was one of the one times I wasn't pissed about the flight being canceled.
I wouldn't have cared.
I'm ready to move down there. I'm over Pennsylvania.
You know, one thing that was kind of cool to me at the Space Coast grand opening, well, not cool. Everybody was from Pennsylvania or somewhere else. Like, no one was from Florida. It
Yeah.
was all,
Oh,
it seemed
yeah.
like most of the, I shouldn't say no. There were some of the agents were from Florida, but most of the people were from Jersey or Philly or whatever,
Well, and like living here now, right? Everyone's either a Steelers fan or a Ravens fan, right?
Or Eagles.
Or Eagles, right? When you grow up in Florida, everyone's a fan of something.
Right.
I mean, there's bars that are literally like Packers bars or Phillies bars or whatever.
Or the Peckers.
Yeah.
The Packers.
The Packers.
Yeah.
The
I've never
Packers.
heard of them.
But that was always cool because you didn't have this constant like fight. Everyone, it was like, whose team is who? Nobody cared. So, you know what I did? So I was saying I ran this weekend, half marathon in Delaware. I just want to say that it was the coolest experience ever.
Congratulations.
Thanks. But
I'd
Carl,
die.
I mean, you'd be fine. It was hilly.
I could walk it.
I was
I'd use
laughing.
an electric bike.
That would be cool.
At one point, we ran past a dude. This was his training run for an Ironman. He was running the marathon that day because they had 4 different races. But I want to tell you why it was cool. Carla and I made my girlfriend wear an Iron Valley shirt, so we both wore Iron Valley shirts the whole run. I am not kidding you. It's the first race I've ever been in. The entire race, people watching, hey, Iron Valley, whoa! Like the whole race.
Awesome.
So the Wilmington office, hopefully you get some new agents and maybe some new business
that's
because
cool.
I swear,
cool.
like the number of people who would just be like, oh, Iron Valley, Iron Valley.
Wow.
So it's pretty
People
fun.
loved it. And then Elizabeth City,
Yeah.
the grand opening party. It was cool because they had like a band out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
It was like a jazz band, and tons of people from the community, and like everybody loves the brand. Like everybody loved the brand
Yeah.
that was there, and it's like cool to see
Call that
that.
jazz. I'm pretty sure that's funk, but you can call it jazz. Just from the 3 seconds I heard. I
It
mean,
was
I
a
never
derivative
You're
of
probably
jazz.
right, Corey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it probably
it's
was
fine.
funk. Yeah, I mean he had a saxophone, so
Yeah.
What do I know
Anyway,
about music?
Jazzy.
Yeah, jazzy funk,
Jazzy-
whatever.
jazzy funk.
But it was cool. It was.
I don't know. I really don't know.
No, I think you're right. Actually, I
Just
think it
guessing.
was. Yeah.
Cool.
Eric Edwards, Mike Little, we can weigh in on that later.
Yeah. You can tell us.
I'll let them do that.
They'll send us a text. I heard Jay Lesko was shooting you
Yeah,
texts.
he was. Yeah, we'll leave that one alone.
All right.
For now.
Was
For
it
now.
some
We'll talk
pictures?
about that.
We'll talk about
Actually,
I'm
it
sure
later.
he'll bring it up when he's
There
on
were
the
pictures
podcast.
involved.
pictures.
There were
Yeah.
pictures.
Surprise me.
Yeah. So yeah, I went through and re-listened to some of our podcasts, and I was like, there's some things we need to follow up on. The first one we need to talk about. Remember, you couldn't remember the name Jay Lesko gave us. Do you remember it now? I
The
remember.
Hive.
The Hive.
The Hive.
Yeah.
I like the Hive.
Do you like it?
I like the Hive.
What
I
do you
still
guys
kinda
think?
like the mothership too.
I like
I like
the
Mothership too, yeah.
but I like the.
I like
yeah.
I like the cult idea. It just sounds good to me.
The cult.
Yeah, I want to be a cult leader, so it just kind of works.
Beam me up, Scotty. I always think of like Star Trek or something like that when,
Yeah.
when I hear Mothership
Mothership.
or like E.T.
I'm just kidding. That was a joke. No cult here. I'm not interested in that.
It's okay.
I
I
could
just
see,
wanted to,
I could see you doing that.
I could do it.
The only
can see
thing
sure I could do
I
it.
started thinking about with the Hive, who's the queen?
The
No, it might not be me, but maybe I am the queen.
Well, none of the men in
But-
this room are going to call themselves the queen.
I'm
so
not calling
I'm just
myself the
saying.
I am not calling myself
I
the
don't
queen.
think Ken's calling himself a queen either.
Nope.
No.
That's a no.
That
I
would be
remember
you.
in my last job, this girl that did not like me, who worked with us, that was her nickname for me, the queen. She would tell people the queen's upset. And I'm like, that's not really the worst name you could give somebody, but okay,
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I'll be the queen. Should we have a contest for what we should call ourselves? No.
No, we could do a survey.
We could do a survey, or we could just let people say, you guys should be this.
Give us an idea what
Give
you
us an
think we should
idea
be
what
called,
we
because
should
we don't
be
want to be
called.
corporate. So what can we be other than that?
Right? The Hive's cool. I mean, just to see if anyone has any other ideas other than Mothership. Do you have any ideas?
None.
None.
I like the Hive, though.
The Hive is cool. It kind of sounds like a 70s
There's a reason why I don't
disco.
like that. And I can't say it right now.
It's cool.
But
I'm sorry.
I like the idea of it.
You
but
probably
I think
went
of,
to
I think of
a
a certain
club in D.C. or something.
No, there was a club.
There wasn't there a club
There
somewhere
was
called the Hive?
what was it called? Has
Buzz.
something to do with
There
it.
was
It was
Buzz.
Buzz. There was
Yeah,
Buzz.
maybe I'm thinking of Buzz.
Buzz in DC, and then there was one that was called something. It was a compilation of that. It would be like the After Hours Club, and I can't remember the name.
Gotcha.
Anyway, whatever.
It's
That's
not
not
good.
why.
Yeah.
There's one.
There's
Talking.
other things.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm not. Let's
Let's
stop.
move on.
Let's
Let's
move
move
on.
on. We're going to talk about. So.
Let's talk about how I'm sweating right now. This
it
room is
freaking
hotter than hell.
and I am not usually
It's
this
so
hot.
hot in here.
It is hot, and it's
It's
set.
coming down.
I'm literally going to be sweating. There's going to be sweat marks in the
The
seat. This
thermostat
disgusting.
is set at
I'm
like
not sweating.
67, and it's 72
hot.
in here. It's freaking hot in here. So, you've probably heard us say a lot that we live in the gray. So I figured we need to talk about living in the gray, and what that means to you each individually, us each individually, whatever. I don't know.
I think
Whatever.
living in the gray for me is pushing the envelope on things and not being afraid to take a risk.
Yeah.
You don't really live in the gray, though.
I don't.
Not really. A little bit. I think you teeter in the
Teeter.
gray.
Teeter on it.
You are very much black and white
I walk the line
in general.
Well, that's true.
That's why you have
that's
Rob.
fair.
That's why you have Rob and
That's
I.
fair.
I mean, you were living in the gray a little bit when, you chose to do something different with the plans originally. I think that would, I don't know if that's living in the gray as much as that's taking a chance, being a risk taker. I don't, but you're pretty black and white,
So am I.
like an Oreo. No, you're black and white. Like
I
an
am
Oreo.
black and white.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
black
like
and white.
really black and white.
No, I don't even know what to say with living in the gray. I really don't know what to add to that.
I think
honestly.
it says, for me, there's two ways of living in the gray for me. There's a negative way of living in the gray that I
Right.
do, and I think there's a positive way, right? So for me, on the positive side, like living in the gray to me means flexibility. So like, when things are so black and white, people are like, it's either this way or that way. And when I live in the gray, in that sense, to me, it's being flexible to say, hey, this might be right, this might be right. Let's find some common ground and figure out, like, where it meets in the middle, so to speak. So that to me is one way that I look at living in the gray. It's being able to be flexible, right, and being able to change and adapt to changes in your environment. But then the other side of it, right, is living in the gray is where I know I should be doing things correctly, and I live in the gray and don't, because I think I'll just deal with the repercussions down the road, and then I do, and then I'm mad at myself because I'm dealing with the repercussions down the road, right?
So it's an
because it's
avoidance
far away,
for
so you
you.
think
Yeah.
it is
You're
avoidance.
avoiding 100%.
You know it's far away,
Yeah.
so you're like, it's okay now, until you have to actually deal with the issue. Yeah.
It's not even avoidance as much as it's like, I don't know. It's weird. And Corey and I deal with the same thing. So that's why I'm looking at him right now. You guys can't see me looking at him because I'm looking
Actually,
at him.
they
'cause-
can if
They
they're
can if
watching.
they
Well,
watch
yeah,
it
if you're
there.
watching that. But if you're listening to the podcast, you can't. But him and I are like identical, right? So it's like living in the gray area is like when you should be doing something, like financially, right? For us, it's the gray area is financial. It's like, all right, I should be setting X aside. But you know what? I really want this 4-wheeler, so I'm just going to go buy the 4-wheeler, and I'll figure it out down the road, right? That's living in the gray that I don't like. That's not a
So
good living in the gray
he's still
for me.
avoiding. He's avoiding.
It is avoidance. And it's also that instant, for me, it's the instant gratification,
Right.
which coming from my past where I had nothing, I think a lot of times you want to get those things and think that that's the end all be all for you. And
I think
that I've learned now over the years that stuff is cool for a minute, and it's cool when somebody says, "Hey, look at your cool car," but then it's over.
Yep.
you know, then it loses the flavor, but the payment's still there. So,
Until you have a rental car in Florida and it's a
That's
4-cylinder
very
and
true,
you're
too.
almost dying
yeah,
because you don't
that's
know how
very
to
true
drive it,
too.
right?
Yeah.
So
Flooring, like slamming the gas to the floor, pulling out in front of cars where I'm like, oh shit, normally I would have been down the road, you know, half a block already, and you're almost getting hit.
what were you going to say, Adam?
What was that about? I didn't hear about that story.
You know, I think I was on the phone with him when I was driving.
Well, we were
Did you
both
get the rental insurance
both
on the car,
complaining.
or did you waive that?
I got it, actually. I
Did
paid
you?
for it.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Well, you paid
I
for
waive it.
We all
Oh,
paid
okay.
for it.
We all pay for it.
We
You
all
know,
paid for
so
it.
for me, I know, like, because I have Nationwide covers it. So
Yeah,
my
they made-
Nationwide guy literally told me,
Okay.
he said, don't ever get the rental insurance
I
on a
never
renter
get it
car.
either.
I think
Rental
So
Gary
does
does
mine,
too.
but they wouldn't do it without me showing them a copy of my insurance card.
Really? I haven't had rental insurance in the last like 5 rental cars I got. Nobody's
Yeah, they
rental
wouldn't.
car.
This place wouldn't let me without showing them a copy of my insurance card, which I didn't.
You know who I used for the first time, and I'm going to use him from now on, is Hertz. So with an Amex, you get Hertz Gold automatically,
Yeah.
right? So I have an Amex, and I didn't realize I did. I've been looking into the benefits of that, and I got Hertz Gold. So we went up. Hertz Gold literally said, "Can I see your ID?" Handed me the keys, handed me the thing, and we walked out the door.
Wow.
I've never experienced anything that quick in my entire life. Like it was
yeah.
literally just like, here you go, boom, boom, go on, see ya. Your Hertz Gold. And then when you pull in, like you don't have to get it. They don't check it. Like they checked everybody else for some reason. Hertz checks people. I know, like some of the other ones don't. You just pull it in, but they're like Hertz Gold, just pull in and leave. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So stupid
Well,
little
that's
benefits.
what I used to use for business travel because your name would be on the board. You just walked out to your car, get your car, and go. So,
Yeah, they definitely make the process
Yeah.
the easiest I've ever dealt with for rental cars.
It's just usually twice as much as other places to rent a car.
It wasn't at all.
It depends, but there are a lot of times.
I paid
it's more.
$230 for 4 days.
So,
That was cheap. So
yeah.
whatever. I
Adam,
digress.
you were going to say something.
What were you gonna say, Adam?
Do you remember?
I do, yeah. So, well, I think just to touch back a little bit about living in the gray, I think at least for me, and I think for us, you know, when we started, we didn't really know franchising, or we didn't really know business and, you know, expanding territories and like even, you know, employees, like hiring employees and stuff. And I think, you know, it was a lot of gray area for us, but like we were focused on still doing the right thing, but getting to the end result. And like, you know, if it maybe wasn't by the book, we still did it anyway. It was a little bit of ignorance.
Living in the
too.
gray without knowing we were in the
Yes,
gray.
correct.
Yeah, no,
So there
yeah.
was some ignorance. So
agree.
I would say, I think we were fearless in the sense of pushing us forward, even though maybe at times it wasn't by the book or should have been done
Right.
procedurally, you know, a certain way. And I think that, you know, is a little bit of ignorance in business. And now looking back on it, where we're at now, when we make those
Like
decisions,
our first fire.
what,
Like our first fire when I walked in and said, "Hey, you're done. Pack your stuff and go."
dude, that was ridiculous.
That's why
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
here.
killing it. We paid for that.
I
Yeah,
think
Corey's
we
not
might
the
still be paying for that.
HR.
We might still be paying for that.
No, I
You
think we're
definitely
good.
paid for that one.
Yeah.
Or Adam in
we did.
Virginia. We won't talk about it. But
Oh yeah,
Adam
let's
in
talk
Virginia
about
was
that,
another
Adam.
one.
Let's talk about Adam in Virginia or Adam in York.
That was a
Let's talk about that one,
costly,
too.
costly mistake too.
It's all good. Mistakes
We
happen.
paid for our
you
mistakes,
learn
but-
from. You learn
Yeah.
from them, though.
We're coming at each other right
We
now. It's
learned
good.
for him. Yeah, I
But
mean, we all
anyway,
make
what I'm
mistakes.
saying is I think now, looking back where we're at years down the line, looking back when we go to do something new,
Yeah.
I think we seek out the proper channels. Like we have a little bit more of a high level viewpoint on what we should be doing.
Not so great.
Well, and to what Rob was saying, like the good side of that, I think, which is something missing right now in society, is it makes you think critically, right? Like,
Absolutely.
Because you're
Yeah.
living in this, I don't know. So I have to learn. I have to educate myself. If you continue to stay ignorant to it, though, that's when you run into issues. So,
Yeah, it's the whole world is. I hate, and I'm not going to get into politics really, but politics is a great example. The whole world is so black and white, right? It's like you either have to be this or you have to be that. You have to do this, you have to do that. You have to believe
Right.
this or believe that. Like there's no like common ground anymore. And I feel like the gray area allows for common ground.
right.
It's you're open to hearing both sides and looking at the pros and cons and weighing them out and then saying, okay, I float somewhere in the middle in this gray area.
Right.
Well, and I think you get that on the news side of things, but I think when you legitimately talk to people, people are more aligned than you would think or you're led to believe, like
Yeah.
on different issues.
If they're open to it. I meet plenty of people that aren't open to hearing anything.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's just says a lot.
80-20
I
rule.
don't want to say it says a lot about us, but
Yeah.
I mean, we are open to hearing both sides in
Right.
every situation. Where in the beginning, I wasn't. Maybe where I thought things should be a certain way, but now I know we definitely do
Yeah,
want to hear
absolutely
both
do.
sides of every story. Which is something that we didn't
Right.
used to do. So
Yeah.
And I think we take I think we learn a lot from the feedback that we get or suggestions. And I think, we take everything we hear from people and, consider it in our business.
Yeah. Which is a great segue into what we were going to talk about next. Cause we talked about us a little bit, but the one thing in Iron Valley real estate, the one thing we didn't talk about was like how we are a differentiator in collaboration. Like we want our owners to collaborate with each other. We want to be collaborators with our owners. So
because we really see the big picture.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, it's the top people that are making all the decisions. And that for us, I mean, at least how I see it, is we want the input from our people because those people are the ones that have believed in us, number one. And I think having a bigger, broader,
right.
What's the word I'm looking
Spectrum.
for? Pool of
Ideas,
of people
views.
Right.
Yeah.
to give us different ideas from different areas. I think that's huge. So.
Boots on the ground. I've always said
Boots on the ground.
I've always said boots on the ground, right? Like, so
Boots on the ground.
Use my analogy.
Boots on the ground. I've always said
what is
them
it?
boots on the ground. Go ahead.
Get it, son. I like that.
Sorry, got excited there.
All right, anyway. We can make some serious noise in
Good.
here.
We could beatbox.
That's like weird. No, what I was going to say
Don't get
is
me started.
I feel like, and I'm going to go back to an analogy in the restaurant business, but I used to always say like, as a general manager, you want to listen to your servers, bartenders, because they're the ones dealing with people. They're the ones hearing the problems. They're the ones with the boots on the ground. They're going to understand what the consumer needs or wants, right? We can't really decide what's best for Virginia Beach or for Florida because we're not in Virginia Beach or Florida, right? So they are going to decide what's best for them. We need to listen and hear that, right? And that's all our markets. Like, we're not in the Poconos. We're not in Allentown. We're not in these markets, like physically in these markets. So if we didn't listen to them, and then we'd be idiots, honestly. So I feel like we have to listen to our people because they're the ones that are hearing the issues and they're the ones seeing the issues. So they're the ones that should be relaying that to us, and we should be acting accordingly.
Well, and I think for our owners, we want them to collaborate because how many times do we have them all together and somebody's like, oh, I never thought of that. But another owner said, this is what I'm doing, right? So we don't want to be that like, I don't like you because you're in the same business as me type thing. It's more of a, I like you. I want to work with you because you'll make me better. Like the recognition that other people make you better.
Your success isn't dependent on someone else's failure. I say it all the time now.
Yeah.
I used to be bad about that though back in the days. You'd want to, everything was a competition. And I'm like, if I'm going to win, that means they got to lose. That's stupid.
Well, that's our model.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody's
everybody's winning from the jump, from the very beginning. I think that hopefully will trickle down to everybody through franchise to the agents that are out there. I mean, we want that mentality to continue.
Everybody wins.
Because if agents are winning, right?
Yeah.
Even if we're making I'm looking at the financial part. Yeah, we're taking a smaller piece than we could if we were a big box store or charging a franchise fee or whatever. But to us, what I love more than anything, I mean, yeah, we like making money. I mean, that's why we're in business. But I think it's cool to watch the growth. Right. And for me now, it's the growth and watching that happen. And if other people are making money and they're successful, at the end of the day, we're gonna be the same. So
honestly, I love the culture of it. Like our culture that we have, and like the agents, like just having a good time and getting along with each other. There's no bickering in the office stuff. I mean, I don't know. Just Iron Valley agents just have a different kind of feel to them, And I think
I always like how too, like with Bash, people want to meet other people from other places and work with them. It's I feel like that's a huge thing for us. So
can we talk about the downside to us being like that?
yes, let's
There-
do
there
it.
is a
There's
downside.
always
I
there's a
think
up
we can
and
talk-
side.
So I think
Downside.
yin and yang.
for me, right, that I see is I think that we're so open and willing to do that I think people like to take advantage of us. And I think that's the downside, right, is that people say, I think, and it's human nature, but it's frustrating because
Right.
I think that we go above and beyond for our people. And we don't do that like on purpose, right? It's
Right.
like, that's just who we are. And I think that because we're like that, sometimes people take more. It's
Right.
like, oh, they gave me this. Oh, they gave me that.
It's
They're
an-
going to
that
do
entitled.
this.
They're almost like they're
Yeah.
entitled. Yeah.
So I feel like if you're out there, you need to be careful of doing that because it sucks, right? Because you can't take, I know I used to do that back in the days too. Like in my personal life.
You see kindness as weakness.
Yeah, you do. You see that, right? You're like, oh, I can take more. Oh, well, if they said yes to this, I'm going to, and you do it like, oh, I need $500. So I'm going to go to them and I'm see if they give me 100. All right. They gave me 100. Now I'm gonna be like, oh, thank you for doing it. Can I get another? Like, you know what it is, but you play that game. But I think that's probably the downfall in business. I think we talk about that a lot because it's interesting because we've had conversations where we're like, now I understand why some business owners are the way they are, because the nicer you are, the more people that take that as a weakness, right? So it's interesting, but it's frustrating. That's kind of where I come into play sometimes, right? By being the hammer.
Well, yeah, and it's about the balance.
The dick.
If you have to have that, you have to have somebody, or you have to be able to say, listen, you're not taking advantage of me, right? So,
and it's hard. I think we need to do. We have to be cognizant of not taking it personally too, but it's hard not to take that personally, right? Because that's just nature.
When you feel like you've done a lot for somebody and give them all these opportunities, it's frustrating. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah. So I think that's the downside of being so open and willing to work with people sometimes. So there's a balance.
I think it's human nature. And I think for me, the longer I've been in business, I see the other side of it now. Mm-hmm. So, when we approach deals or we approach alliances with joint ventures and stuff, I am able to emphasize and take the position of being in their spot too, because if it's not mutually beneficial, somebody's going to feel slighted, and it's just not going to create a harmonious relationship. Mm-hmm. There has to be equal give and take, in the transaction. So
used to be the opposite. You were really bad. Like
agreed.
You would just give away everything to anyone, and just like without there being any advantage for you.
Agreed.
Yeah, it used to be.
It was a little bit too much. But yeah,
you've dialed that in though. You've been better. Yeah, I agree.
But I think again, the learning curve. In the beginning when we first opened, I believed everything everybody told me, and I was super naive. I would say to the whole game, and over time now I've gotten more cold. I hate to say that, but you almost get more. You have to be.
I was probably too cold in the beginning, just because I have a lot of business experience. So when we first walked in, I was always like, no. You guys would be like, chill, Rob. And I'd be like, nah, man, they're trying to take advantage of us. Nah, there's an angle they're working. Nah, there's no. Like, and then I think, I realized, okay, there are some good people out there that aren't going to just take advantage of us, and I got to chill. But that is kind of like always been my edge.
Everybody is working an angle.
They are working.
I mean, in business, everybody's working an angle of some sort.
Nature of the beast.
So you have to.
It's human nature.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. Everybody's trying to do better themselves.
Trying to get ahead.
I look at it though from like my experience working in the corporate world and working in a place that was very collaborative. It was always we. We were a team, and when you would go interview for jobs there, you had to remember that you had to talk about yourself, not your team. But that's how that environment was. And then I was in an environment where it was cutthroat, and it was all about, you better be doing it. And that people would throw you under the bus left and right. And that is the last thing I would want. Like, I remember people literally, the person I replaced left the company, made a huge mistake, and I caught it. It was a financial mistake on the 401k plan. It was a big deal. We had to go back years and fix it, thousands of dollars. And I'm the one who got in trouble for it and got blamed and got yelled at and screamed at. And I'm like, you're the one who made the mistake for the last 10 years. I've been here for 6 months. But they had to throw somebody under the bus instead of just saying, hey, let's figure out how to make this better and not screw it up again. Yeah. So to me, it's, which environment do you want to be in? Because I don't want that environment for myself.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Truth. Next.
Sweet. Well, I mean, we've come to the end of this podcast, except for our regular game time.
Oh, man. Here we go, Lisa's games. What are we doing?
You like my games.
Let's do it. What are we doing?
We're going to play this or that. So I'm going to give you 2 words.
You can get with this, or you can get with that.
Exactly.
You can get with this, or you can get with that.
I'm going to give you 2 words, and you have to tell me which one speaks to you the most.
Speaks to you.
Are you ready?
Do it.
Do it.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Early bird for me.
I would have used to have said night owl, but I think I'm an early bird now.
I float somewhere in the middle. Not too early, not too late.
He's in the gray.
You're in the gray.
You're in the gray. Oh, you are in the gray for once.
Adam is in the gray.
Adam is in the gray with the gray t-shirt on.
He's in the gray.
I do have a
He's literally in the gray.
All of us are wearing gray.
You are in the gray today.
Grayed out.
We're all in gray today.
Mr. Gray.
Beach or mountains?
Wasn't that a movie?
Beach or mountains?
I can't give you.
I'm saying beach.
I love the beach.
I can't.
I love the mountain.
I'm probably going to take mountains. I'm not going to
Are you in the gray?
I'm not
going to
lie. I'm going to take the mountains.
I think I'm taking mountains. Yeah. I love the beach.
I can't.
But I love
can't
the
choose.
Mountains.
You're in the gray on this
it's
one.
Hard. It's a hard one.
Yeah.
Okay. Fishing or hunting?
Fishing.
Fishing.
Oh man, I'm in the gray on this one. I love both for different reasons.
Gesundheit.
What's the matter with you?
Salud. Ninjas or pirates?
Oh, ninjas all day for
Pirate.
me.
I'm a swashbuckling pirate.
Wow.
No, listen. So I've always loved pirates. I'm a little weird about that, actually.
The angry pirate.
Do you wear an eye patch? Remember dodgeball? Steve, the pirate.
Beaufort, North Carolina, Blackbeard.
Okay.
Look at the story, man. It
is cool.
It's a cool story. I love
Yeah.
everything about that. Anyway,
And you
I
didn't
wish it was
say
a
Adam,
pirate.
ninja or
I
pirate?
could do either or. I'll stay on the pirate team with you, Corey.
nice.
Right.
You want to sail with me?
Yeah, I'll be your lieutenant, or
I want to be the captain. I want to be the captain.
you want to be the captain. You can
mean,
be
I
the
gotta be
captain.
the captain.
Yep.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles all day for
Waffles.
me.
Waffles.
That's an easy
Both.
one.
But
Uh,
I'll take waffle.
Okay.
Waffle House.
Oh,
I'm definitely
Not
down
here.
for the
Oh,
Waffle
you-
House.
you ever
Yeah,
have-
anyway,
in the
what's up with
South?
that?
Forget Waffle House.
No, there's one in Harrisburg.
yeah, but I can't
Yeah,
stand
you need to
Waffle
buy
Houses up north. They're nasty.
On the way to Lancaster on 72, Country Cupboard or something like that.
Oh, I know where you're talking about. That
It's
little
a little
hole in the
restaurant.
wall.
Have you ever had their?
Oh, that's
No.
good. Yeah.
Those pancakes, their cinnamon roll pancakes are the best fucking pancake I've ever had in my
Oh,
life.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the little white one?
That
on the
little
right?
building on the
Yeah.
right.
Dude,
Yeah.
they're banging. The
That
food
place is so
banging.
good,
Their
yeah.
breakfast food is
I
banging.
forgot. Yo, I haven't been there in probably 15 years.
We went there a couple weeks ago just for those pancakes because they're so good.
Oh man.
Oh, you know where the other spot
I want to go
is?
eat them right now.
The Porch and Pantry in Mount Gretna. Shout out to them. New owner.
The owner.
Yeah, food
is it still good?
is good. Yep.
You know Dan Bose? I probably shouldn't have said that, but Dan Bose's wife used to own that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know Dan Bose?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there was a couple people that it's been through a lot of owners. I feel like in the
Yeah.
last 10 years.
Anyway,
I feel like that.
get back to the game time.
I feel like we have to do this one. Lancaster or Lancaster?
Lancaster. From
Lancaster.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
I know exactly. So there's everyone's Pennsylvania Dutch coming out. And I used to say Lancaster when I moved here, and I got reamed out all the time.
What
so.
about Lebanon?
Lebanon.
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 Lep. Lepnin.
Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Lebanon, Levi.
Lebanon.
LA or New York?
New York.
New York.
Yeah, I'm going to New York.
Yeah, New York.
Going to New York.
Cone or cup for your ice cream?
Cone.
I'm gray area for this
I'm
one.
cone.
cone.
I'm
I'm
cone.
cone all the way. Team
I'm
cone.
gray area.
Speaking of
I'd
cones,
probably do the cup. You know what I like to? You guys are ragging on me. The cherries. The
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 maraschino.
Luxardo.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
the
Luxardo.
the Luxardo
I have
Oh,
my
cherries.
the
house.
Luxardos are so
I have
good.
like 3 jars of those.
I
in
use
my
those
house.
for my old
You should bring
fashions.
me
I
a
do
Well, you
too.
do,
Where do
but
you
put them
buy
in your
them?
ice cream.
Yeah, they're banging.
Yeah.
Where do you
They're
buy
the
them?
best
You can get
cherries.
them at the fine wine and spirit
Wise,
stores.
Giant.
I was looking for them, and I was like, I can find a
Amazon.
maraschino.
So you have to go in the bar section of the grocery store.
Yeah.
So you know in the grocery store where they have mixers for like the bar? That's where they have them.
All right.
Go to the spirit store. They
Yeah.
have them there.
They
They
do
have
have
them
them
there
there.
too, yeah.
Or Amazon.
They are the best cherries.
So-
They're not soaked in bleach.
Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Listen, Dairy Queen, which I don't really like Dairy Queen, but this I really like.
It's not
So
ice
yesterday I
cream.
went there. Well, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I got a dipped cone. It was a churro dip cone.
Mm.
Banging. It was like cinnamon, sugar, and it was so
I
good.
like churros.
I just had really good ice cream in Little Havana. It was homemade
yeah.
Cuban ice cream. There's a little shop there that's really popular.
Game time. Go.
Drama or comedy? Comedy for me.
What was the
Comedy.
other one?
Drama or
Comedy.
comedy?
Oh, comedy. If you said action, I'd take action, but not drama.
Adam's
I'll do
favorite channel is
drama.
Hallmark. He watches Hallmark Christmas movies all day.
I do binging over the weekend. Hallmark binging. No, I
Wow.
don't.
Cold or hot weather?
Hot.
Probably hot.
The
Yeah.
cold's good too.
I mean,
I'm
snowmobiling's fun,
gray. I'm gray.
but it gets
Right.
old after a while. The cold.
Snowball fight or water balloon fight?
Snowballs.
Snowball.
You get kind of
Snowball.
vicious. Snowball.
That's
Yeah.
why because you can really smack.
I was a kid that used to
somebody in the face.
put rocks on the inside.
Oh,
of the
okay.
snowballs.
Cool.
Yeah.
You also froze your paintballs, and when you play
I never
paintball, yeah.
did that, but that's a great,
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah.
a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, never.
Never did that.
Laundry or dishes?
Neither.
Ouch.
Wow.
I'm gonna go laundry.
I would do laundry.
I don't
before
mind
dish.
laundry. I just don't like folding.
That's me. Sorry.
Dishes.
folding. That's all the work with the
That is
laundry.
the-
Listen, I'm
Iron.
good to do laundry all day. Throw it in the washer, do whatever I need to do. I can't stand folding it when it's done.
That's exactly me. And Erica's always like, I'm like, I did like 6 loads of laundry today. She's like, yeah, and there's a huge pile of clean laundry. That's
Yup.
yeah. She gets mad at me for that.
Yeah,
I'll do the
Like when I
dishes.
washed it,
folding is the worst.
I hate folding.
I mean, dishes.
You
it's-
probably do dishes 24/7. Yeah, I know you're OCD.
Adam also
It
likes
does
to wax
run
his
every day.
He likes to wax his floors. How often do you wax your floors?
You
out?
clean your floors every day. He doesn't wax them though. He does the Bona.
It's
No,
usually
he waxes them.
once a week, and then there's spot touches throughout the week.
Oh my God.
Tell me how often do you wax your floor?
I don't wax the floor.
Dude, I've been on the phone with you where you're like, I'm stripping and waxing
no,
my
I'm not
floor.
stripping. I was using the Bono, the floor
Bono.
cleaner.
Then why are
The
you calling it
Bono?
waxing? 'Cause you were
It's
calling
not
it,
The
waxing.
boner.
you called it
Wow.
waxing. You were
Bono.
using the boner on the floor?
The Bona. The Bona.
Is that how you
Boner.
wax the floor? Okay.
Wax that ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Killing it. He's so. If anybody could see, Adam is so red right now. Sorry, Adam.
His ears are growing.
Sorry,
Or they're
Adam.
glowing, not growing.
Growing.
They're glowing.
Okay, well,
Pinocchio.
when you have kids running around on hardwood floors dropping food left and right
Yeah.
all the time, it
Oh, you would hate my house.
Yeah.
The dogs.
The
They
dog.
drive
I got
us
attacked. I
nuts.
got attacked by Rob's dogs yesterday.
Oh yeah.
really.
I got hitting the.
Yeah.
Bear stands.
junk
Bear
more
stands
than
face to
once.
face with you. It's crazy. He's a beast.
Crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
Smooth.
Smooth.
Crunchy is so weird.
Classic car or modern car?
Ooh, I'm going classic.
Classic what?
Classic,
Classic
car,
car,
or
modern
modern
car.
car?
I'm a classic.
I like a good classic.
It depends
car.
on the day for me.
Yeah. So you're in the gray on that
I'm
one.
in the gray on that one.
I'm a car guy, so I'd take both, but
Front porch or back porch?
front. I'm nosy.
It is
front,
fun. to
Probably
look.
front.
Yeah. Front porch or back porch, Corey?
Back porch.
I knew it.
I had to do the opposite of what you thought it was going to be.
I was gonna say something.
You're going to
about
say
that,
there's a
but
Yeah.
couch on my front porch. Is that what you're going to say?
no, I'm not saying it.
Okay, I'm going to end on a
But
real
you
estate.
said it without saying it.
I'm going to
You
end
said
on
it.
a real estate one. Luxury or first time buyer?
First time buyer all day.
First time
First
buyer.
time buyer all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time buyer.
Rob would say luxury. I know Rob.
I'm going luxury. Actually,
He's
I'm going luxury. I want to get paid for my work.
I love helping new people when they're looking, and the whole process is new and fun.
Yeah.
and
I used
exciting.
to.
I like it.
This new market though, like it's not
well,
fun.
it's tough
This
right
market
now.
sucks.
Like
I
I'm
feel
thinking,
for it,
see,
but-
so I'm thinking more like right now, like the market. If you have a first time home buyer, you're showing 30 homes, writing 10 offers, and praying that one of them gets accepted. So it's a
Right.
hard pass for me.
But it is fun.
It's fun. No, it's
There's a
it's
challenge
the
there right now.
excitement. I think the excitement of like first time. I just got a buddy of mine under contract finally, and it was rough with him. And you feel bad. I think for me though, with that right now in this market, it's you feel horrible for them.
Yeah.
Like when you're calling them 8 times, and on the 8th call, you're like, "Sorry, man, you didn't get it again." Like that's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
Does
As
suck.
someone who
It
cares,
does suck.
that sucks. So I feel like luxury is more a business transaction, and that's kind of why I relate to it more. And so,
Yeah.
Mm.
Different environment.
yeah,
Business.
All right, y'all.
Business.
Well, until our next podcast,
yeah. Appreciate y'all.
we appreciate you.
We out.
Please go and like and share our podcast. Give us
We're on
feedback.
Apple.
Apple,
Yeah,
everywhere.
We are
Review
everywhere.
us.
We're
We
everywhere.
appreciate it.
Worldwide
We're on the
World domination.
World domination.
on podcasts.
Awesome.
Not really.
Help us to dominate the world.
Thank y'all.
Sweet.